Hello everyone and welcome once again to PJ Builds Bricks. My name's PJ and you are tuned into episode 3 of the series where I build the Space Shuttle Discovery set from the NASA X LEGO collection. Now if you haven't already, I encourage you to please go back and watch the previous episodes where I discuss the set itself, as well as a little bit of the history on the STS-31 Space Shuttle mission, which this whole set commemorates. Speaking of previous videos, I do need to issue a bit of a correction here. I referred to the Hubble telescope as a refractor telescope. Now, unfortunately, I got my terms a little bit mixed up. The Hubble is actually a reflector telescope. The refractor telescopes use optic lenses, while reflector telescopes use mirrors to bounce the light around and all through the tube out to a camera, and that's how they get their images. So with the Hubble telescope having a large mirror at one end and a small mirror at the other end, it's a reflecting telescope. I'm not going to name names here, but somebody needs to double check his work when he's writing his scripts. I'm going to blame that one on the intern I don't have. Anyway, on today's video, we're going to put together bag number 3. So this bag is going to finish off the Hubble telescope portion of the build. So as you can see right here, I've already built the stand for the Hubble telescope, as well as the majority of the body that you see here. But we're missing 2 very key components, because while we have all these fancy high-tech bits and bobs, we have nothing to power the telescope with. And 2, there is no way of getting the information back to Earth. So that's exactly what today's bag is going to be. We're going to polish off the main body of the telescope, we're going to attach the antennas as well as the solar array, both of which I'll have some more information on later in this video. A couple more stats before we get started. This bag has 19 steps and a total of 173 pieces. So I got my table set up, I got my Kraken and Coke poured, so let's get to work. Alright, so here we are. I got my bag all laid out with the 173 pieces that I need. I'm going to do something a little bit different this week. I got some feedback from Asmar fans, so a bit of crumpling and crinkling of Lego pieces. Some tiny little pieces on this one. Look at that. A lot of tiny ones. Always scared of losing these, or one of my cats getting a piece of it, or knocking them off the table or something like that. You know, they up the difficulty to like 15 when you're trying to do Legos with cats. But here we are, all spread out. All right, let's get started. Alright, guys, and there we have it. Hubble telescope is completed. All I need to do is put it on this little stand here. Alright, and we have a very nice display piece. A little bit off balance. To work on toying around with that. Of course, it would help if I put it in the right direction. There we go. That's the correct way. Put it backwards. Womp womp. Alright. So before I wrap up, I wanted to point out a couple interesting things here. So in an earlier episode, I mentioned that the Hubble has some delicate equipment on it that needs to be protected from too much light exposure. So what the engineers did was add this little fancy instrument, which we know as a door. This door protects those instruments. It can close, it can open, which keeps everything shut. Among those instruments are several different kinds of cameras, and they're all located down on this thick end right here. So these cameras can capture a wide variety of images. That includes a couple infrared cameras, some high-resolution cameras, ultraviolet, wide field, pretty much anything that you could possibly think of you would need to capture out there. And they all live down here near the big mirror. For communications back to Earth, there are two types of antennas on the Hubble itself. The first one's a low-gain antenna, which is used to send and receive signals and commands. Now, these aren't often used in data transfers because they are low-gain, so they're very slow. But these weren't included on the model either because they're kind of tiny, you know. But what was included on the Hubble are these right here, the high-gain antennas. Now, there's another one underneath here. You can kind of see it there hanging down. These high-gain antennas are what are responsible for transmitting the roughly 18 or so gigabytes of data back to Earth on a weekly basis. It's kind of cool, though, because these antennas don't actually beam a signal directly to Earth. What they do is they send a signal to a tracking and data relay satellite. And what this satellite does is beams that data down to the complex in White Sands, New Mexico. And the crew of the White Sands, New Mexico complex will then send it to either the Space Telescope Science Institute in Baltimore or the Goddard Space Center in Greenbelt, Maryland, which is roughly a half hour south of Baltimore, sometimes an hour and a half, depending on traffic. Anybody from the DC, Baltimore area knows what I'm talking about. Last but not least, of course, we have these guys right here, the solar panels. So the Hubble is actually on its third set of solar panels, with the ones currently in service having 8 panels on each side. The array itself is 23.3 feet long and 8.6 feet wide. And what these do is they charge the Hubble's 6 internal batteries, which in turn provide the 2100 watts of power that the Hubble requires to remain operational. What's kind of cool about this is I don't remember the last time I saw in a Lego set. I don't know if you noticed during the build, but these panels are very kind of delicate and flimsy, which sort of adds to the authenticity, because if you look at solar panels on spacecraft, they're not like the ones you see on houses. They're actually very, very, very thin and very delicate. So that's kind of a cool little, like, almost texturizing feature to it. Anyway, that is it. So now that the Hubble is built, the next part is going to be building the Space Shuttle Discovery itself. I'm actually really super excited for this, and I can't wait to get started. As always, thank you for tuning in and watching. And, please like, comment, and subscribe. And also, I would like for you guys to give me some ideas in the comments, just so I can make the channel better, because what I do want to do is make this channel all about you guys, my viewers, and what you want to see. With that being said, I want to thank you again. Have a fantastic week. And remember, the only time it's acceptable to wear Crocs is when you're cleaning up your Legos. Have a good one, everybody.